I watched impatiently as she fished a cell phone out of her bag, glancing around before answering a call. She turned away from the door, hunching over slightly to hide the phone, and I accepted that this was probably about as good as I was going to get. Taking advantage of the receptionist's distraction, I slipped through the front doors as silently as possible, then darted across the open space to the wall, pressing my back to it. Conveniently, white columns also lined the foyer, keeping the walls and doors that led off in the shadows. How fortunate for me that the agathos were so ostentatious in their decor choices. Now where the fuck do I go? From the outside, I hadn't been able to see that the foyer wasn't empty. Hidden behind a column, pacing back and forth in front of a strange-looking door, was a tall, red-haired man with opal-colored agathos eyes. I froze in place as he turned to look at me, my muscles tensed, ready to fight. I was prepared to fight as many agathos as needed to get to Grace, but I could have done with a few more weapons. Fuck. He didn't look like he wanted to fight me as he took in my tattoos and dark red and purple eyes. Demon eyes. If anything, he looked kind of sad. The man gestured at me to come closer, before tipping his chin at an old-looking wooden door surrounded by a stone archway. Should I go? This really seemed like a trap. At the same time, Bullet had told me I needed blood to get through the door to the sub-basement, and not my blood. I needed agathos blood. Maybe I could smash his nose against the door or something. I still had the bottle of vodka tucked in my jacket if he tried to fight back. I stopped a few feet away, and the man reached into his pocket, quickly slicing his finger on a knife before I had a chance to register the weapon. For fuck's sake, I needed a Kiri's daemon with me for this shit. I was not equipped for physical violence. "Take care of my little girl," he whispered, holding my stare as he pressed his wound against the stone. The door opened with a light click, and the man moved back for me to pass. "Always," I said awkwardly, tipping my chin at the man before shoving the door open and rushing down the dimly lit stairs. Was that one of Grace's fathers? He seemed a lot nicer than the dude with the pole shoved all the way up his ass who'd shown up at Grace's apartment yesterday. The narrow passage was illuminated by fiery torches and wrought iron sconces, the steps and walls all made of dark stone that looked ancient and out of place compared to the foyer I'd just come from with its fluorescent lighting and ringing cell phones. This was the creepiest shit I had ever seen, hands down, like a scene straight out of The Mummy. The agathos were terrifying. I followed the sounds coming from the bottom of the winding stairs, forcing myself to breathe in and out, to not panic for Grace as I went down, down, down into the earth. What were they doing down there? Were they hurting her? Did agathos hurt each other? The faint sound of chanting could be heard underneath some scrambling, panicked movements, and I forced my legs to move faster, faster, faster. I could feel Grace's fear, but it was mixed with an unexpected hint of pride and a heavy dose of disappointment. Of course she was disappointed. She'd trusted her parents, and they'd shown her very clearly how misguided that trust was. They'd twisted the faith she had in them into a weapon, then ran it right through her back. At the bottom of the stairs was a single wooden arch-shaped door with a lit sconce next to it. There was no one standing guard, but I guessed if they thought only agathos could get in the creepy blood barrier, they didn't need anyone out here. Convenient for me. I pulled the bottle of vodka out of my jacket, checking that the soaked fabric was still in place, holding it at my side as I kicked the wooden door open with a bang, not giving a fuck about subtlety. This wasn't about stealth. This was about perception. Forgive me, Grace. I'm about to be every bit the reckless daemon they assume I am. The room was pitch black, but the light trickling in from behind me illuminated the space,